Hey guys, welcome to the third and final installment of sort of my spring drugstore roundup series. We have already looked at the favorites, fails, and it's fine for both face products and eye products. If you've missed any of those videos, I will link those down below. But today we are going to be talking about lip products because I have found some really fantastic formulas this season and I have found some real duds. So let's go ahead and get into it because we have a lot of products to talk about. So let's go fails, finds, and favorites in that order. And I have just a couple of fail products for me. One is from Flower Beauty, which kind of bums me out. It is their Pop Fanatic. This is their lip vinyl. I got the shade Kapow. I do think a huge part of us are now loving these very juicy, glossy lips, myself included. I feel like it's been the full pendulum swing away from liquid lipsticks into more glossy, hydrating things. And part of that shift has been also the inclusion of something called a lip vinyl, which in my opinion means a super high shine but pigmented lip gloss. But what I found with the lip vinyls is that many of them can be very, very sticky feeling, and this might be the stickiest, goopiest product I have ever seen. And I tried to get footage of just showing you just how sticky and goopy this actually was, even just pulling the wand out of the container. The color of this is absolutely gorgeous. I do think that this is a product that's going to last well on your lips because it does have that thickness, but like I can't handle the feeling of my lips like sticking together as I'm talking. And the thing that is even more extreme than that with this product is as you're talking or moving your lips are sticking together, and as they pull apart, you're almost seeing some of that stickiness kind of like string apart. It's just, it's not a good formula, and it bums me out because I really enjoy so many products from Flower. I think they have made a huge step forward in terms of just product innovation and launching great products in the last year and a half, and unfortunately this one is just, it's no bueno. All right, so now we are moving into the It's Fine bucket. And I will admit that some of the things that are in this It's Fine bucket are in here because my preferences have changed, not because these are necessarily a formula that you wouldn't personally like. But like I mentioned, I definitely feel like I have a proclivity towards more satins, cream lipsticks, glosses now than I do a lot of liquid lipsticks. One is from Makeup Revolution. This is their matte lipstick. This is in the shade Matte Chauffeur. Chauffeur is a shade that is in a bulleted lipstick form that I've actually really enjoyed. So this is a similar color. It's sort of a muted dusty pink color. It's a really great nude. It's got this really nice sort of flat wand that's very skinny at the end. It's very easy to apply it. It is very creamy as it goes on and has a nice slip to it, and then it sets down in probably, I would say, 20 seconds or so to something fully matte. I do think this one, because it is a nude shade, I didn't notice any sort of weird fading where you get like crumbling or like the inner part of your mouth kind of wears the lipstick away in a funny way. I didn't notice that with this one. Granted, it's a nude, so those types of shades tend to be more forgiving in that respect anyway with the wear down factor. I didn't find this one to be insanely drying either. So in terms of liquid lipstick formulas and the ones we're going to talk about, this is definitely the least drying. So I did like that aspect of it as well. I could see myself keeping this one. I did really enjoy it in terms of it being a matte liquid lipstick that didn't like make me want to rip it off my face in a few minutes, which is where I've been with a lot of matte liquid lipsticks lately. But once again, I don't know as if I'm going to be reaching for a matte liquid lipstick over other things in my collection. Another product that ended up being a matte liquid lipstick that I didn't think was going to be when I first bought it was from Milani. So this is their Amore Shine Satin Matte Lip Cream. I picked up the shade 07 Classic. I assumed when I saw this satin texture that I wouldn't have a completely dry down matte liquid lipstick. I didn't care for their Amore matte liquid lipstick. I found it to be a little bit drying. So I don't have any more of those in my collection. I was thinking this might be more like the satin formula from ColourPop. This, I can't tell the difference between that and their matte liquid lipstick. I don't think it's maybe as drying as their original matte liquid lipstick formula, but there's nothing satin about this at all. It is fully matte, super dry looking on the lips. Like it looks like it kind of pulls moisture from your lips. I don't think it's as bad as their original formula. I didn't care for that one lick, but this one I do feel like is still very drying. It looks very drying. It looks incredibly matte. There's absolutely zero shine left on your lips. So I'm not entirely sure where this matte satin claim is coming from. I feel like what they did was like barely improve their old matte liquid lipstick formula to make it slightly less drying by like a hair and label it as a matte satin formula. I'm not seeing it. I don't think it is the worst liquid lipstick I've ever tried, but neither do I think it is the best. It is pretty drying. Like I said, it's better than it used to be. It's not the worst drying liquid lipstick I've ever tried, but it's just not my favorite. And to be honest, between this one and the Makeup Revolution one, I definitely preferred the Makeup Revolution. The next formula is from Essence. So these are their Color Boost Mad About Matte liquid lipsticks. They're in these little tubes. I actually think the little doe foot applicator is really easy to use. It's got this nice little hourglass shape. It goes on your lips incredibly well. This is a very thin formula. There's not a lot of moussiness to it, but it did lay down a layer very easily. I didn't have to build it up. I've got a nude and a rosy shade. I felt like these were good in terms of not being super drying, but I also feel like I didn't get a whole lot of longevity from them because they were that thinner formula. Just felt like they disappeared very, very quickly. They passed a kiss test for me. Like, it wasn't that they were transferring in that respect, but just the acts of drinking water or sipping on coffee, by the time I got to lunch, I would notice that a huge portion of my lipstick was gone with these. So if you like a very matte look upon a first application, I think you would like these, and they didn't feel super drying, but I also feel like that they didn't really have any of the lasting qualities that you would expect from a matte liquid lipstick. So you are going to have to reapply these almost like a regular lipstick. If that doesn't bother you, quite frankly, that doesn't bother me. You may really enjoy these. If you are looking for something a little bit more tenacious, then this might not be for you. Let's talk about a couple of higher shine formulas that I tried. The first is from NYX. This is their Candy Slick. This is the shade Birthday Sprinkles. Now, I dislike this shade quite a bit. I don't know what I thought I was going to be getting when I got this shade, and I guess it's probably not too far off from the color that's actually in here. It has a very nice, slippy, comfortable, gel-like consistency to it, so I didn't dislike the formula, but they put out a series of very strange colors, and I couldn't ever like find a color that I was super passionate about. So ultimately I was like, well, maybe we'll try this more blue-based pink. And what I got was a blue-based pink that was just like, it's too Barbie. And this is a pretty full opacity type product. I like the gel consistency of it. I like the feel of it on my lip. I just haven't been able to look at the collection and get super jazzed up about any of the colors. And I definitely do not reach for this sort of blue-based bubblegum pink. Okay, the other glossy type formula that is kind of in this It's Okay range is from the Full Spectrum collection. I really like the packaging on this. It's got this really cool sort of jewel octagonal type shape on the top. The shade that I picked up is Felicia. So this is a very opaque lip product. I would put this kind of almost more in a lip vinyl category. I don't feel like this is overly sticky, but I also found this to just be a little bit heavier on my lips. Even though it wasn't sticky, it felt very heavy on my lips. So when I put a little on my lips and then would actually blend it out with my finger, I actually really liked the effect that I got. I lost that shiny, juicy look from it, but I ended up with something that I felt was just a little less heavy and a little more comfortable on my lips. I didn't care for it in its fully opaque gloss form, which is why I kind of put it here in the middle. It's not a formula that I feel like I love the way that it was intended. I have to remove some of it with my finger in order to get it to a consistency I like. So not the worst product I've tried, but definitely not my favorite either. Now we move into some bulleted lipsticks. So another one from the Full Spectrum line is from CoverGirl. It is the shade Bite Sized. It is a really pretty peachy nude color. I did enjoy the shade of this quite a bit. I think it's really fun for spring. It is that cream formula, not the semi-matte formula from CoverGirl that I really, really love. Formula on this is just a classic cream. It's super easy to wear. It's lightly hydrating. The reason this isn't in my favorites is that I really do not like the scent of the CoverGirl cream lipsticks. They have a really lovely vanilla scent in their semi-matte formula. And for some reason, they have this like chemically sweet fruit scent. It's just not a lovely fragrance. And I was really hoping that maybe when they launched this full spectrum line and they had an opportunity to kind of build some lip products specifically for that line, that they would take their cream formula and kind of improve it. And what they've really done is just take their CoverGirl cream formula and add some new color extensions for this full spectrum line. So it's not the worst cream lipstick. I really do enjoy the formula. The scent of it is just off-putting to me. It may or may not bother you. If you've tried another CoverGirl cream lipstick, you enjoy it, you would probably enjoy the line here and find some new shades. Unfortunately, the full spectrum line didn't launch any more semi-matte shades, which is what I was also looking for. Yeah, just the scent. Another formula that I liked, but I didn't necessarily love, is from Essence. So this is their Velvet Matte line. I have two shades. I have shade 1, Donuts Go Nut, and then I have shade 10, Greedy Coffee. These are more of a cream formula than a velvet matte. I get quite a bit of shine coming off of these lipsticks on my lips. I do really like both of these colors. They were creamy. They went onto my lips easily. They don't have great lasting power. I found that they wore away rather quickly because they were so creamy. That may or may not be an issue for you. That's not the end all be all thing for me, but I did just want to call that out. In general, I felt this was a good formula. It was nicely creamy. It went on the lips well. Don't think it has the matteness that the name would suggest, but I also don't feel like it was blowing me away in terms of formula, like, oh my gosh, I've never felt this quality before. I feel like I've got a few formulas in my best category that I was like, oh wow, this feels really luxurious and really high-end. I would say these are average lipsticks. There's nothing wrong with them. I would actually probably prioritize these over the CoverGirl ones in terms of scent. These have a light sweet scent, but nothing too obnoxious. Okay, so that wraps us up for the things that I put in my fine category. I had a lot of things that I really loved in terms of lip products from this spring. I felt like I was finding formulas that I was really excited about, shades that I was really thrilled to be using. And so I've got a decent number of products. In fact, there was quite a few formulas where I so enjoyed the first shade that I bought that I went and picked up some more shades. And so I've got a number of different shades and a couple of formulas that I really, really love. Let's actually start with a lip balm, and we'll keep it very basic. This is the Petal Pout Lip Mask. This is in the shade Nectar. This is from Flower Beauty. It comes, and I've kept it with this little cap that kind of keep it from coming out. I'm not usually a huge fan of these plastic type applicators, to be honest, but I feel like with a balm product like this, it actually really works. The shade Nectar is going to give just a hint of color to your skin. I mean, just the hint, but this is so moisturizing. It has a lovely vanilla caked kind of scent to it. I really like that as well. And it's really, really hydrating. I was reaching for this a lot in the wintertime when I was just feeling very dry lips and I wasn't feeling like putting on any sort of bold color. I wore this so many times in early January and heading into February. And I went to actually go get another color of this online, and then I found that like everything was sold out, like every shade was sold out when I went to go repurchase another color. So obviously other people are finding that this is a great formula as well. Now, I personally don't mind lip products and treatments that have a little bit of petroleum jelly in it or a little bit of mineral oil. I actually find, I know that those ingredients aren't maybe adding moisture, it's more about keeping moisture in my lips than adding a lot of moisture. Those two ingredients are in here. The mineral oil will help to hydrate. The petroleum jelly type consistency is definitely just going to add a little bit of thickness and keep moisture from escaping your lips. So I think this product is kind of doing both of those things. But if you don't care for those thicker sort of petroleum jelly, think of the GlossierBalm.com. If you don't get on with that kind of product, you probably probably won't care for that. I personally find these to be really nourishing on my lips. I know some people have the exact opposite reaction to products like that. So I did want to call out the distinction in terms of what kind of product this is, but I really, really loved this, and I'm kind of curious about some of the other colors that might add a little bit more tint than this natural shade. Let's work our way from glosses to lipsticks. So one product that I picked up on a whim, and I'm so glad I did because I love this formula, is from I Heart Revolution. So in the face palettes conversation, I was talking about how I had seen the I Heart Revolution sort of display, and it seemed very kitty and plasticky, and oh, it's a donut in an eyeshadow palette. And I had actually tried a face palette and actually ended up being in one of my favorites. Another thing that I ended up grabbing was a lip gloss. And so this is their I Heart Chocolate Lip Gloss. I got the color Chocolate Orange. This is a great formula, guys. It is not sticky. It's really smoothing on the lips. It actually packs a lot of pigment. So to be honest, you don't need to pair this with anything. You can just wear it on its own. It has a really lovely orange scent. Like, I think it smells like an orange creamsicle. I really like the scent of this product too, if you're into that sort of thing. Super impressed by this, and it completely caught me off guard. I was expecting to have sort of a, it's an average gloss kind of reaction to this, and I really enjoyed this. In fact, I started to use this, I used this one day and was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I love how it feels. I love how it glides on my lips. I love how it's not sticky, but it packs a bunch of color. I started reaching for this like day after day after day, and I finally had to put it away in my fully tested bin because I wanted to keep using it. So I'm not sure if all the colors are this way. Like I said, I've only tried Chocolate Orange, but I actually saw, gosh, who was it? Another YouTuber I follow had a similar sort of shocked reaction to how good this product was. And she was talking about how much she just couldn't put this chocolate orange shade down. Super surprise winner for me. Another surprise formula for me is from CoverGirl. This is their Melting Pop Vinyl Wow. And when I saw this, I thought, okay, here we go. This is going to be one of those super sticky, kind of like the flower one. I'd already tested it. I had already tested the other CoverGirl one, which felt very thick on my lips. And I thought to myself, okay, this is going to be a formula that's thick and slightly goopy and very sticky. And I don't think I'm going to enjoy this. And so I went into it wanting to test it because it's CoverGirl and it's cruelty-free. And I really want to support their new product innovation and just CoverGirl in general with trying products from them because of the stance they've taken in the cruelty-free space. So I picked up one of these and I love it. It is not thick at all. It's a very thin consistency. It's a gloss formula that packs a heck of a lot of pigment, but it doesn't feel sticky at all. In fact, this is one of the least sticky glosses I think I have ever used. I so enjoyed the nude shade that I got toasted that I actually gave in and got one other shade. This is a rosy shade called Caught Up, which I think is absolutely stunning as well. So I really, really think that the pigmentation and the color is fantastic. But for some reason, even though I'm describing a very thin texture, even though I'm describing something that is fuller coverage, I don't find it like sliding around my mouth or getting on my teeth or going off on my face. And that is fantastic. So I feel like of all the quote unquote lip vinyl type products I've tried, these are the best I've ever tried on the market from any brand, high end or low end. So if you've been not a huge fan of CoverGirl lip glosses in the past, don't be scared off by these. This is a great formula. The next gloss I think is more of a traditional lip gloss. In fact, it is a line that's been out before, but they've added some new shades, and it's from Milani, and this is the Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper. This one is not that like cinnamony, super tingly. You will get a little bit of a coolness from it, but it's also got a really nice gel consistency. It's about as thick as I like to go with my glosses. If it had been a hair thicker, this would have been in my it's fine pile, I guess is what I would say. But I think that this formula, because it has a little bit of thickness to it, without feeling super heavy on my lips, it actually is probably one of the longer lasting lip formulas that I can handle. Most of the time, the longer lasting lipsticks are kind of sticky and goopy, and that is why they last, and I hate the feel of them. This is one that actually manages to hang on for a while without all of those factors that I hate. So this is a new shade, Rosewood. They've launched a couple of other shades that have sparkles in them. This one is just pure sort of cream, and I really love this cool tone rosy shade. But I like this formula, and I was excited to see them launch more shades. All right, so now we're moving into more bulleted lipstick formulas. Let's talk about a couple glossy lipsticks that I've really been enjoying. One is from Essence. So this is their Instant Care lipstick, and they actually have this little sticker at the top that says it's made with 20% shea butter oil. So this is an incredibly moisturizing, hydrating, lovely lip product, especially if you're dealing with dry, chapped lips. I also picked this up in the winter and was reaching for it a ton. I will say this one is a little sheerer than things like the L'Oreal Color Shines. Those have a little bit more of a punchy pigment to them. This one is a little bit more sheer and balm-like, but it's not, I wouldn't consider this to be a tinted lip balm either. I think it's got qualities of a tinted lip balm in terms of it being moisturizing and all of those things and having shea butter and all that, but I think it actually has a decent amount of pigmentation, so I feel like I'm getting color on my lips when I use this. There isn't a huge shade range in this, but if there is a color that appeals to you and you are liking a more lip balm slash lipstick, this is a great formula and it's incredibly affordable. The next glossy lip formula that I really like, guys, is from Physicians Formula. So this is their Murumuru Butter SPF 15 butter lipstick, I think is what they're calling them. These are so high shine, so incredibly like wet looking on the lips. Like it's like you have applied a lip gloss and a lipstick at the same time. So it is a very soft formula. It definitely glides onto the lips. It's giving you really good pigmentation. I was wearing this shade in particular, Pink Teeny, in my face palette roundup. I also own the shade Brazilian Sunset, which is more of a sort of warm coral color. I thought these would be really nice for summer. You are getting a different scent in this than you are with the bronzers and the blushes that have that kind of pina colada scent. This is like, kind of reminds me of candy. Like a Skittle maybe? A Starburst? Something like that. It's fruity. It's nice. It's not obnoxious. It's not overly pungent. It's a nice scent. I've contemplated picking up more shades of this. I definitely feel like this is the closest comparable product I have come to yet to the L'Oreal Color Shines. If I had one complaint with this, it's that I wish that the size of the lipstick was just a little more narrow, considering how slidey this product is and pigmented at the same time. I feel like a slightly skinnier bullet would have made for an easier application process, but I like these. Now we come to two matte lipsticks, bulleted lipsticks. One, I would say, it says it's matte, but I would almost say it's more of a satin matte finish. This is from Catrice. This is just a 90 Exotic Nude. It is their ultimate matte lipstick. It's very creamy feeling on the lips. It is super pigmented. You cannot get over just how pigmented this lipstick is. It has this really interesting sort of velvety looking feel to the outside of the container. I had bought one of the Lisa Eldridge red lipsticks that looked like crushed velvet on the outside. It's not quite to that degree, but it does have this really interesting texture to the outside of the lipsticks that is really appealing to me. I would say it's demi-matte. It's not completely matte. So if you don't care for a very matte, dry formula, this may be a formula that you actually like. As with all Catrice lip products and just Catrice products in general, there's not an extensive color range in there, but this is a very nice sort of mid-toned nude. And then the last formula I wanted to talk to you about is a matte formula from Milani. So this is their new bold matte line. I actually ended up getting 3 shades here. This is a very matte lipstick, but it still manages to be comfortable on the lips. So I think they've done a really nice job formulating matte lipstick that doesn't like tug on your lips as you put it on. It's full saturated pigmentation in one swipe. It has a very nice, subtle, soft vanilla scent, and it's comfortable. Like, I can wear this lipstick, even though it's matte, even though it looks matte on my lips. I don't feel like after an hour or two that my lips are just screaming for moisture. I like what they've also done with the naming convention in terms of just like positive affirmation. So shade 01, this rosy shade, is I am fabulous. I also have the shade I am smart, which is more of your traditional sort of peachy nude shade. And then I also grabbed the shade 12, I am radiant, which is more of a deeper sort of warm terracotta, at least on me. And I really like all 3 of these shades. I think, like I said, I have enjoyed wearing these lipsticks every time I've reached into them. In fact, I would say that this matte formula is very comparable to the matte formula in the Petal Pout lipsticks from Flower Beauty. I actually think they've hit on a very similar, comfortable yet true matte cream formula. So great find from Milani. All right, guys, so that wraps us up for today. That is all of my fails, my favorites, and what was left, the It's Fine in the middle for the lip products that I tried from the spring drugstore launches this year. Let us know down in the comments what your experiences have been with these lip products or with anything else that's been coming out lately in the drugstore. Love reading your comments and recommendations down below. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. Talk to you soon.